Hello, and welcome to the Kreachur Feature Podcast, where I find random people on VR chat and interview them to learn more about them. Today I have Shublu. How are you doing today, Shublu?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, getting by. Work was a little hard, but getting paid. That's what's important. You ready for the questions, Shu? Just getting right
Hell yeah.
into it. Alright. So, how long have you played VR chat for?
Let's see. It's December. I think I started playing in February, so it's been about 10 months. I had like a couple weeks before that, but I don't really count that because it was kind of a one-off thing. So 10 months.
Is there a reason you got into it? Like, how'd you hear about it?
I was aware of it, but
Hmm.
what's funny is I always kind of wasn't interested in VR. When I first heard about it, I never paid it any mind or thought about it. But at the same time, I spent a lot of time online, and I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of real life friends. And then my work and my hobbies don't really get me out and about very much.
Yeah.
So I was kind of thinking of ways to meet people, and then just one day I realized, like, oh, VR would probably be the place to do that, wouldn't it? So
Yeah. It's pretty good for
I,
finding new people.
yeah, so I did some Googling. I read about VR headsets, and
Hmm.
then I found one 2 hours away or something like that. So I hopped on my bike and I headed over and picked it up.
Like you found one on eBay or something, or like Facebook Marketplace?
Facebook.
Oh, okay. Did you get a good deal?
I have mixed feelings about it. For anybody who knows what it is, it was a Reverb G2. It
Okay.
was a pretty fun ride, but what
Uh,
I didn't know, and what you might not have known as well, is that Windows is phasing out Windows mixed reality.
mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of people saying that it's gonna just become bricked in like a year or so, which
Damn.
that's a long time.
That
But in
sucks.
my impulsive purchasing brain, I was like, this is a perfect excuse to buy a second headset. So
Fair
I found
enough. Yeah.
out,
I've
yeah,
been personally
I,
juggling about getting the Pro myself because I like the face tracking
mm,
stuff. I'm all about immersion. I like feeling more immersed.
yeah,
People are like, you got full body because you want to do naughty things on VR chat or dance. But like, no, I just like seeing my legs move when I move my legs. You know.
yeah, I'm a lot more
Hell,
boring than
I
they
got them for my
imagine. I just love
elbows.
wiggling. Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet. Maybe one day.
Yeah. Why did you decide to keep playing VR chat?
I really like meeting people, and I like
Hmm.
interacting with people, at least on my own terms. You know, some people aren't so great. But once I got into the game, I realized that there's like a whole other layer that it adds because I'm sitting here, it kind of feels like you're looking at me and I'm looking at you. I can tell based on the body language how this conversation is going.
Hmm.
So it just makes it feel like I can be closer to the people that I meet or that I'm already friends with.
Hmm.
And it's just a really nice experience. It's kind of like a thing I haven't ever seen before in my time, playing non VR games.
Yeah. There really is nothing like it, aesthetic wise too. Do you have a favorite VR chat world?
Mm, it might be this one.
Oh yeah.
Um, Probably this one. I like Exoplanet Journey because
Hmm.
people probably know what that is. The one setting that lets you switch it to the ocean. It has the best ocean I've seen out of any of the worlds in this game.
Hmm.
And I really like the ocean, so I'll just sit there, listen to the waves and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Funny enough, I really hate the black cat, but that's the first place I go every
That's
time
not
I get on.
okay. Now, yeah, that's funny enough. I thought like funny enough. I hate the black cat. Everyone hates the black cat. It is
Yeah,
like the one thing everybody can agree on for VR is the black cat always sucks.
black cat reminds me of like global chat in an MMO. I read it and I'm like, I hate it here. And then when I'm not reading it, I'm like, I kind of miss those guys.
I'd say it's like an unmoderated one. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hmm.
And it's funny because everyone knows that there's very, very annoying people. It's kind of the worst of the worst. But at the same
Hmm.
time, I have the best luck meeting people there out of anywhere that I go. So it's kind of a what do I do thing.
You know, speaking of worlds people hate, I actually have a soft spot for the McDonald's world in VR chat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like I was like it was around Halloween and I was just kind of like roaming around in full body and like this kid was dressed up as Iron Man and he started punching me, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. And like, he's a young kid. I could tell he's a young kid. I'm like,
Oh
fuck it.
yeah,
I'm gonna play along. And so I acted like I was getting beat up by
yeah.
him, and like, oh, and like fell on the floor and stuff, and like I went
Yeah.
all out. I made his day, I think.
That's actually really cool, yeah.
Yeah,
I would always think of that.
I feel like the the most toxic kids actually go to the furry hideout because they're actually targeting people, and it's not like where you
That
expect to find younger people on VR chat, like the Black Cat
yeah,
and McDonald's, don't have the worst of the young kids on VR chat.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can tell this, but I'm not a furry. And then there
no way.
was a time like there there was a time like a month ago where I realized that in my whole time playing, I've had almost no overlap with furries somehow. Like there's always like one or two in the crowd, but I
Uh,
realized like I've never really like I only ever talked to like two or three. And so one day I'm like, I'm gonna put on a furry avatar. I'm gonna go
mhm.
incognito. I'm just gonna chill and like see what life's like on the other side. And then I go, and the moment like the I spawn in, all I hear is like 10-year-olds. And I'm like, oh right, yeah,
Well, that's if you go to furry
okay,
hideout. Yeah, unfortunately,
yeah,
there's not really a better alternative than furry hideout though. Just go to a moderated one.
yeah. It
Mm.
was it was fun to watch for like a few minutes, and then it got pretty like overstimulating. So
There's
I pieced out
there's
pretty
like
quickly.
a there's like what's it called, like a timeline for these kids. They go on their YouTube on the iPads their parents give them, and they see like a Lolathon video. You know who Lolathon is?
Yeah.
They see like a Lolathon video, and they're like, "Wow, that's so cool and epic! I want to troll furries too." But they don't. Lolathon has class. He has style, and they just end. The kids see him end up just being like annoying, saying "ew, furry, furry" or some other shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're just cheap imitations. I think that's the bigger issue. If you're gonna troll, do a good troll.
Do you remember? I am terrible with time. I think it was like a few months ago now.
Hmm.
There was like, and he's still around, but that's when it peaked. It was like proximity chat and all of that. Going to the bar, you have the camera out, picture, picture, picture. Don't take a picture of me. Don't do that.
Yeah,
And then I go to the bars a lot. That's my place. So for the next like 3 months, I just be sitting there and I just hear the cameras in the distance. Then they come up to me, they snap the picture, and you can just see them doing their rounds. Like literally, like this is my
they're
one
trying to
move.
get
I have the
clips.
camera.
They're trying to
Yeah,
get
they're
clips.
rage baiting.
Yeah.
But it's just so funny because they come to me, I watch it happen, and I just watch him go person to person. Like, okay, that time it wasn't funny. Okay, they didn't say anything. Okay, they were AFK, and they're just like day in and day out the same thing over and over.
I think it's kind of like a tale of two sides, to be honest. Like one, like you should like it's common courtesy to just leave people alone if they're like just doing their own thing. But like
Hmm.
also like don't get so pressed that you give them the reaction they're seeking. Like I
Absolutely.
believe that we're all in control over our own emotions, like to a very high extent.
It's you kind of almost feel like you're like a party in between the two of them because you're like, okay, you shouldn't have been doing that, but you also should stop talking to them and just walk away.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
none of this had to.
I'm devil's
And then
advocate.
the worst part, like you kind of watch it happening and you're like, okay, I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of entertaining, but also you two should probably step away from each other. And the next thing you know, like a crowd is formed, and that's when you know there's no coming back from this.
You
It's
just sit
totally
back and
wraps now.
watch. You just don't get involved. You just sit back and watch at that point. How do you think VR chat has affected your life since you started playing?
I would like to think that it's been good for me.
Hmm.
It was, and there's like layers to it. First of all, it was like a fun experience. Like I said, it was a whole new thing. It was a cool new thing to kind of like fixate on. I love reading about the new headsets and the new tech or whatever game is coming out. And then another part of it is I've always been really fascinated by online communities and how they develop their own like decorum and stuff. Like the example I always give is like Dark Souls has its own like thing of etiquette that's like a almost unspoken rule that most people follow, some don't. And it's so crazy how that just developed. So when I came here, this was a first for me when I came here. Because when I played different MMOs, it was like, okay, there's a vibe here. And then there's like a small minority where they're kind of out there. They're a little maybe like deranged or they're a little bit antagonistic or whatever, but they're kind of in the corner. or you would have to seek out those people to see them. What really blew my mind when I came here is they're the majority, and it's very uncommon, at least in my experience, that you meet people that are kind of like, oh, you're just like a normal dude. What are you doing here? And every day I think about that when I'm just in any world. I'm just overhearing what I'm overhearing, and I'm like, you all are clearly going through a lot, and maybe this isn't the best way to handle that. So that's been really fascinating, witnessing the culture and stuff. But it's also been fun because this has been my foot in the door into learning about Unity. So learning about avatars and stuff like that. I've always been intimidated by game dev stuff. So there's been like so many cool things that this has done for me.
I agree. I mean, I part of my little side thing that I do is I help people make quest versions of the avatars they bought, and I teach them how to do it and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I hate Unity though. I hate working with Unity so much. I hate how it steals my CPU usage. It's so rude to me.
It's been wild. I haven't had any experience with programs like Unity, so the interface was like a whole thing to learn about. But then also, we're not really using it traditionally. We're doing it just for VR chat. So then there's the SDK and like, how does this change what we're doing? But then it was also like, how do I put clothes on it? Let me look this up. This video is 5 years old, and this person's mic is like
there's like
5%.
There's like no good content for learning this shit. I'm surprised by it.
Which is so weird.
Like I couldn't find anything about like converting avatars to quests. Like they're all outdated. I had to like, you know who taught me all this shit that I know about Unity now? I wanted to put audio link on an avatar, right? And I couldn't find anything about it online. So I like went up the ladder. I kept going up the ladder. I joined the Poyomi server. I bought Poyomi on Patreon. Like I had the tier. You know who I met that actually helped me? You know those handheld audio link tablets that you can control audio link in a world with? He's the person that designed them. Designed the 3D model for them.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. And like he taught me a lot like about like the quest conversion stuff and how to set up audio link. I'm thankful for him.
That's a really good way to do it, honestly, because I never even thought about approaching it that way. For me, it was like I can't find the right video. I'll cobble together what these different content creators have said and figure it out from there.
Yeah, you chose the slog.
That's actually really smart.
I'm a little more. I picked the social route, I suppose. What made you pick the avatar you're wearing today?
I made this one.
Oh yeah?
My main avatar.
Nice.
This has been the bulk of like what I've learned. You know, I made some other thing first and it was super crude and whatever, and then I wanted to move on to something else, and then I was looking at like Jinxie or Booth. I picked Booth. It was just, tacking clothes onto it, and then by the time you're done, it's like a million polygons, 120 materials, and I'm like, okay, let's figure this out. And so a lot of what I've been doing is like not really like making avatars. I'm just slapping stuff on, but then like, how do I make this a nicer color? How do I make this fit how everything else that I'm wearing looks? How do I make this matte cap go with that matte cap? How do I shrink all of this down into being a like not disrespectful download size? So this has been a really cool learning experience, although it's like the only avatar I use 99% of the time. So at this point, as happy as I am sick of looking at this guy.
You think you're gonna change it up soon?
I'm thinking about it, but I'm trying to not dump any more money into this stuff. And then I think I can probably like, make things refreshed a little bit, maybe just different outfits, maybe.
Yeah.
The one thing is I think that people who have this kind of, I really don't want to call it this, but it is what it is. The e-boy style is it's very like you could be doing more. It could be like surreal, right? So, the whole skeleton jelly thing, that's the step that I wanted to take. Now I'm thinking,
I wouldn't consider this e-boyish. If you wanted to go e-boyish, you'd have like 4K tattoos on you.
Yes.
That would lag my game and crash me out. You'd be 7 feet tall. You'd either use a voice changer or try to make your voice sound deeper.
A mesh tank top Everything is
tanned,
at 8K texture size. Yeah, I'm like glowing, like oily for some
50
reason.
billion
Everything's oily.
piercings.
Yeah, man. The chains, they all have
The
the
chains.
chains.
Yeah. And they're always like
The glasses that's like a
blindingly
circle and
bright.
an X.
Like they need to turn down
Oh
their
my
bloom a
god.
bit, bro.
The
If
bloom is
any
crazy.
e-boy is watching this, please turn down the bloom on your jewelry. It is blinding me. Every time I look at you, every time you move, it blinds me. Please, for the love of God.
You can feel it when they join the lobby because you lose 20 frames.
Yeah.
It's like every time.
I'd say e-boys are like half the reasons I have my shield settings set to what they are.
Yeah, literally. Like if I've been tweaking it now, and for the most part, most people I have it so they show up. If I ever see a fallback, I'm like, I know what you are, and I'm not turning you on.
Sometimes they have like really annoying join sounds too, like when they respawn or when their avatar spawns
Yes.
in. It like plays like Lil
By the
Peep for
way,
15 seconds.
They have ruined for me Lil Peep, Suicide Boys,
I hate Lil Peep.
XXXTentacion.
I hate Lil Peep so much.
Like, I call it VR chat music now.
No. They're sad boy rappers. They're sad boy slash fuckboy rappers. I went to a boarding school and like we didn't have internet access. We had CD players, CDs, and MP3 players that we could use. Every time we went on visits home, we were able to like nab more music from like YouTube or whatever, right? And like
Yeah.
I was surrounded by people that like were sad boy enjoyers. So I was forced to listen to Lil Peep for like 9 months.
Oh my god, yeah.
You know who really sucks at rapping?
Ooh.
What's his name? Cardi.
Cardi? I love Cardi. I'm a huge Cardi fan.
Wait, am I thinking of the wrong guy?
I mean, I can see why he would be not.
No, Yachty. Sorry, I hate Lil Yachty.
I love Yachty. That's
Homie,
crazy. Are you thinking
She
of old
blow
Yachty?
me like a cello.
That is not his brightest moment. But okay,
That is not
I
his
do have to
brightest
go on a
moment. You...
tangent here. When he first started, he got a lot of hate, which in my opinion was pretty justified because of
Are we like talking like
won't say it's good or bad.
2017ish, 2018ish? Because that's when I was
Around
forced to listen to him.
yeah, and his music. I don't like to say something is good or bad, but it did have a very like juvenile quality to it.
Mhm,
And then,
mhm.
you know, I get it, man. He just wanted to do happy stuff, but he got a lot of shit for being like, you're not good at rapping, you're not good at writing, whatever. And for some reason, it stuck with me, and I thought, if I was in his shoes, I would really want to like that would really burn me up, and I would want to kind of pivot. And so for anyone who hasn't followed that, he's a totally different person now, and all he cares about is writing. So if you ever listen to like A Cold Sunday or something like that, oh my gosh, totally different person.
Okay, maybe I
So
gotta
it was really
re-listen to
cool.
some Lil Yachty. You know, I'll listen to him tomorrow. Promise, I will.
It's not for everyone.
It isn't.
But,
I could not like Suicide Boys, Lil Peep, Yachty, when fucking Kendrick Lamar exists in the same year.
mhm.
I can't. No one tops Kendrick. Good Kid, Mad City. He's not topping it, no matter what he puts out now. There is
It's a
not a
good
greater
album.
there is not a greater modern rap album than Good Kid, Mad City.
I love that album. That was like my high school right there.
Mm-hmm. The fucking writing, dude. The fucking writing. It's so good. Oh.
You know, Lupe Fiasco.
No, I don't know.
If you're a big writing guy, I would recommend anybody to listen to Murals by Lupe Fiasco. Crazy stuff
Okay.
in there. It's a
Okay.
song, not an album.
You like hip hop at all?
Yeah, I'm a huge rap fan.
Hip hop, like before rap. I love
I like both.
I love Tribe Called Quest.
They're great.
Midnight Marauders, one of my favorite
Yeah.
albums of all time.
For old stuff, I like Biggie a lot. I like Wu-Tang a lot. I like a little bit of NWA, but I'm mostly like a new school guy.
I'm not a huge NWA fan. I feel like it's a certain niche that I'm just not a part of to appreciate, I suppose.
I think a lot of rap didn't age super well just because a lot of what they did on the technical side of things, like the beats, were a lot more like rudimentary.
Well, no,
So if
I
you
think the
compared
beats
it
were
to,
good.
Like, a modern day beat.
I like the acoustic
They were
beats.
good.
I prefer acoustic beats compared to the electric stuff we get these days. Like, Tyler, the Creator, is still doing acoustic beat. I mean, he does all of his own sounds. That's really cool.
He's very talented.
I don't know if Kendrick makes his own sounds. I think he does.
I don't think he produces.
There's no way he
might.
got 3 songs out in a week without being self-producing, like during the Drake
Well, he
beef.
has a pretty big team.
That's true, yeah.
That was Mustard. That was Mustard, and
Oh
I
yeah, you're
know
right. It was
for
DJ Mustard. Yeah.
it was a few people, but I know because he shouts Mustard and all that stuff. But
hmm
I know for To Pimp a Butterfly, a lot of that was Flying Lotus, which he's also crazy.
We got a little sidetracked there. That was cool.
Yeah, if you talk to me about rap, I'm gonna go on a tangent. I love it.
So it's time for some more questions pertaining to real life things. You ready to move on to those?
Let's do it.
All right. What do you do for work?
I have 2 jobs right now. My first job is I teach game design to youths, so that's ages 6 to 17. I teach remotely to different schools in the United States. My second job is this one's in person. I do an after-school program at an apartment complex for families recovering from homelessness.
Uh-huh.
And then on the side, I do some music stuff, video editing, and then I do avatar stuff for people.
You know what? I love that about you. You got all this community outreach that you're doing. That's fucking cool. That's
Thanks,
sick.
man.
Yeah.
I like doing what I can to help.
I used to go to the summer day camp that was held like in the same place where my old middle school was. So like middle school lets out for summer, but like this summer day camp uses the same grounds for it. It was called Camp Galileo, and
Ah,
one of my best friends from back home that I'm still friends with and talk to this day. He was doing the game design course for that day camp because like when you sign up for this day camp, you choose a class to take during the day camp, and I chose game design.
mhm.
So like we made like cheap, like easy to make games using Multimedia Fusion 2. I don't know if you've ever heard of
Yeah,
that software.
I haven't.
Yeah, it's old, and like I even went there past the age I was supposed to go there because I just loved going there, and like he was my best
Mm.
friend and stuff. Yeah, no, it's really cool. You're doing a lot for your community. I think it's pretty cool.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I like getting people inspired to do stuff and motivated to do stuff. And I think that a big problem right now is communicating to people in those younger ages that there's a lot of stuff that doesn't get explained very well, I think. And I think a lot of the time when you're that age, you tend to see adults as kind of like an adversary, or like they're not quite on your side.
hmm
And I had a hard time with that growing up. So I wanted to try to break that mold a little bit and show people like I'm on your side. I'm trying to help you. And I want you to do the stuff that makes you happy, as well as try to figure out like what are you doing right now and what are you going to be doing 5 years from now.
hmm No, no, that's sick. Yeah. What do the kids think of you?
That's a good question. I would have to ask them, but I'm a pretty chill guy. I try to make the class like as fun as possible. I remember early on, I had the kind of wrong idea because I'm used to teaching. I used to do like esports coaching on Twitch and stuff like that, and that was
Oh.
different because they come to me, so I have your
Huh.
full attention. I'm gonna teach you at the highest level you want, and I approach it like that. And then within like a month, I'm like, okay, nobody's listening. They're just running around, screaming, yelling at each other. They just want to play quick play or like be on their phone. So I had to pivot and realize the technical education is more of like a back burner. This is more about making sure that they're having as much fun as possible.
hmm
And then if I'm lucky, I can have some like teachable moments. All that to say, it's a very, very chill class. I try to be the cool teacher. I think they like me or tolerate me at most.
You know how you know they like you?
Uh,
They have lunch in your classroom. That's how. All the cool teachers when I was going to middle school, if you were a cool teacher, the kids would go to your room to eat their lunch at, to chill out at.
They'll ask me questions and stuff where like there some classes I've had, there's like nothing. You can feel it when you don't really have the room in any job or hobby or whatever. And then
Yeah.
there's other times where like they come up to me, they ask me questions, or like they kind of forget what we're doing because they're so busy talking to me about whatever. And that's when I can tell that this is going well.
You want them to like, like not every kid. This isn't statistically. This isn't like what every kid's gonna be end up wanting to do in the future. But as long as they're having fun,
Yeah.
you're still gonna find those diamonds in the rough that are still like actually purely invested in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had he'll never see this, so I'll say it, but for one project that we do, we have them make a platforming game.
Uh-huh.
And you know, has anybody here ever heard of a platformer? Show of hands. Mario. Right, exactly. Roblox parkour. Yeah, you guys get the idea. So I want you guys to make a platformer, blah, blah, blah. This one kid, he had 2 months to do this.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to have like 2 weeks. He turned in his whole project, there was a cube, 3 penguins, and then like a lightning effect. And I was like, okay, obviously this kid is not going places in game design. You just chill on your phone and have a good time and kick back. Meanwhile, this other guy, he made an entire castle with like an actual interior, different rooms. One of them I think was like a recreation of the class that we were in. And then he also segmented it, so there's loading screens as well. Very smart for a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a city area, there was a cave area with enemies, and I'm like, dude, keep going. Go look up what Unity is, go look up what Blender is. Please, please keep looking into this. Even if it's not a job or whatever, you're having fun doing this.
So, like, in your opinion, have you tried Godot yet? Because
No, I haven't.
I've heard it's like super similar to Unity, except like it also involves a lot more 2D aspects if you wanted to. Like, you can make a platformer or you can make a 3D game. But I also heard that it's way more user friendly and it's easier on your machine too.
I haven't used it personally, and I'm not sure what their licensing is like, if we would be allowed to
It's
use
open
it
source.
in that setting. Okay, because we have our own engine that we use.
Nice. What engine is it?
I'm not going to say because it's the company name, but it's built
okay.
inside of Unity.
Okay, gotcha. It's proprietary. My bad. Alright, here's a question you're gonna like, alright? Because we already blabbed a lot about it. What is your favorite song?
Favorite song? I could be thinking about this for hours. I'll just throw out Pale Blue Eyes by the Velvet Underground.
Uh-huh.
That's a good one. Velvet Underground, I think, was from the 60s, maybe 70s. Really, really good song. Kind of easy to play, but really nice tune.
You play
Yeah,
you play
everyone should listen
instruments?
to it. I play a very tiny bit of guitar, but I mostly make beats and rap.
Okay. My first instrument was actually the violin, but I ended up hating it.
Wow.
And
I'm not surprised.
I did guitar after that, and I played guitar for like
A lot
5
easier.
years. It is a lot easier, yeah. But
Yeah.
I could never build calluses, so I kind of stopped playing
Oh,
guitar
really?
and I moved to drums. I've been playing drums now since like 2018. I taught myself how to play in the
Drums are
barn.
super cool.
In a barn that was like at my boarding school that had a drum kit in it. I just taught myself by
Oh, that's
listening to
wicked.
music and like learning how to play each song's drum line. So
That's a hard way to learn.
it is a hard way to learn, yeah. Like the learning to separate your bodies like in different ways.
Oh, dude.
It's a pain in the
So
beginning,
bad.
but like once you get the hang of it,
I-
you don't forget that.
Oh, yeah. Once you like break the like my body has to be symmetrical thing, I'm sure it becomes way easier.
Yeah.
I sat down in front of a drum kit one time and I tried to do the like boom spaps, and I'm like, okay, no, this isn't for me. It was so hard.
When I think of drumming, it's kind of like a circle. It's like a circle. So like, so it's. It's kind of a terrible way to put it to someone who doesn't understand. I visualize it like a circle because it's easier for myself to understand. Each beat is at each like corner of the circle, right? There's four beats per measure. So 1, 2, 3,
yeah.
4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That boots and cats pattern is actually one of the easier ones to learn because the way you have to think about it is not like I'm gonna do boots and cats and boot. It's you have to like think of the steps because it's actually you're not using two limbs at the same time for that one. It's dunts, cuts, kunts, cuts, dunts, cuts. You just gotta figure out the repetition, you know.
Yeah, it's a classic rhythm too, because like a lot of the time, I've had times where I've talked to other people like working on a beat, and then they were like, I don't really know what to do for the drums and whatever, and I'm like, you don't have to like invent a new rhythm, you know, like the classics are good because they're always pretty freaking good. You can always just start there. You can always change it later too, but like And don't get me wrong, like I love the like super crazy hat patterns that people do in rap, and I do that sometimes. But there's other times too where just normal like 16th notes is totally fine. I don't know if it ain't broke.
Outside of like EDM, I don't like when, like, especially for rap, I don't like when it's like not physically playable in real life for a beat. That's why I like
I
acoustic
can see
beats
why.
better.
Yeah, I
But
can see why that
actually,
would be.
speaking of the boots and cats thing, one of the songs that I hold near and dear to my heart is "Sultans of Swing" by Dire Straits.
Uh-huh.
You know that song?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's one of the songs that I was like one that I was like learning, teaching myself how to play in that barn. And the part that was hanging me up that whole time was it goes from like 4 on the floor, and then it switches to boots and cats at the end.
Yeah.
So it goes, and like just getting that down took me like a month, and then I finally did it, and like a bunch of other songs became easier to play.
Yeah, once you get over that hill, it kind of clicks.
Do you have a similar thing when it comes to like making rap beats?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure it applies to like anybody that does anything musical. Is you heard something, you're like, oh, that was sick. How do I do that? But then when you try to do it, it's just not as good. And a lot of the time, it might not be like the technique is the issue. It's like there's some kind of like magic that you're not understanding, and you just kind of like work at it and work at it. And then for people, hopefully you finally get there, and then you just have that in your bag from now on.
What
Like
was
for me,
what
the
was your
biggest
hill?
thing,
What was your hill? Your big hill?
um, melodies and chords were always really hard, and I would do the thing most producers do. I'm just like plonking on the keyboard, and then like, oh, this sounds cool. I have no idea what it is. Let's keep it. And I try to learn theory, but the thing is, when you're starting out on theory, you're learning all the boring, like super basic, like diatonic chords, and it's all very like childish sounding. And so I was like, I think I'm moving in the wrong direction. I think I should just go back to like not knowing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so I noticed a very drastic change in how my chord progressions were, and that kind of made me a little bit lost. And the other thing for me that was really hard was texture. Like, if you ever listen to like the electronic guys like Flying Lotus, some EDM does it, a lot of IDM does it, but there's like all these pretty noises, like Shlomo, if anyone knows Shlomo. There's all these pretty ear candy things happening, and I'm like, how did you pick those sounds? Like, what did you do to them? How did you process them? There's a million things happening in this like 4-second cut of the song. And that's still like a thing that I'm chasing to this day.
You know what your version of purgatory is gonna be, like when you
What?
die, you're not going to either. It's gonna be going down a list of snares by clicking the arrow button over and over, but it just never ends. It just never.
That was me like 3 days ago. Dude, like someone, my friend Rob, he told me one time that when you're scrolling through kicks, it sounds like a dude falling downstairs, and I've never laughed so hard in my life.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, dude, he's so awesome for that, Rob.
It's pretty good. Have you seen like the rap beat recreation speedruns? There's like a semi-official league for that.
Crank That was the big one, I think.
Yeah. What's your favorite meal?
Favorite meal? Carne asada tacos. Authentic Mexican tacos.
Anywhere from specific, or like any like special way like it's put together? Because we're talking a meal, not just a dish.
A taco truck. I'm from California, so we have a lot of Mexican food.
I'm
if
originally from there too.
It's probably gonna be a banger. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Man,
You from SoCal or?
I'm in the middle, in the Central Valley.
Nice. Yeah. No, I was born in San Fran.
Oh, that's super cool. I love it there. Not driving, but like being.
No, I hate it there now, dude. It just reeks of piss.
Yeah, it's
Central's cool though. You got the you got Fresno, right? Fresno's in Central, I think. You got the Jelly Bean Factory.
Yeah, that's what we're known for
That's
sure. And the
Bakersfield,
stabbings.
right?
Yeah,
The what?
love Bakersfield. The stabbings.
Oh yeah, great. Yeah, yeah. No, that's a tourist attraction. I don't
Yeah.
know why. Every elementary school and middle school in San Francisco takes a trip to Jelly Belly Factory like once a year.
I think I
Like
did that.
every year of my elementary school and middle school that I was in San Francisco, we went to Jelly Belly Factory. I don't know why.
We went to a factory. I don't remember what though. I don't think it was Jelly Belly.
I don't even like jelly beans, man. They make me sick. Any like gummy candy makes me sick.
I am kind of like over sweets a little bit now that
Mhm.
like my brain has registered like this is just like a block of sugar with nothing
Mhm.
else going on. Like this isn't normal. A little weird that I'm eating this.
Kit Kats are my crutch, bro. I love Kit Kats. It's my vice.
We all have our weakness. I love Reese's.
Mm. I don't like peanut butter in candy or ice cream.
Oh, I love it.
I just don't like the taste of peanut butter in general.
I love milk chocolate. No dark chocolate though. Never dark chocolate.
I'm okay with dark chocolate if it's not too bitter. It's like, you know,
Can't
how
do
like
it.
people are okay with drinking coffee because it makes them feel like more of an adult.
That's exactly what I'm doing. Like
That-
I don't think I can think of one time I've ever enjoyed a cup of coffee, and I drink it every morning because it feels right. It's like this is how I know the day has
Exactly.
started.
But like,
Yeah.
if I drink coffee, I always get an iced mocha. I don't like any
Those
other
are really
coffee.
good.
I love iced mochas or blended mochas. Starbucks has went downhill in the last 10 years for their coffees.
Really?
Oh, 100%, dude. The worst coffee I've ever had was from Starbucks last year. No, earlier this year. I don't know much.
I've only gone a few times.
I don't know much about like Starbucks coffees, except they have like that one like Oreo mocha, like what's like a mocha with like whipped cream and like Oreo crumbles all over it. Like it's like 8 billion calories or whatever it is, and like that was like really sweet, and I don't like that being too sweet. And then like out of curiosity, I wanted to try their vanilla frap. I thought like, oh, so it's like, you know, like a mocha but with like vanilla instead of chocolate with the coffee, right? No, it's just fucking like vanilla cream with like milk and like so much sugar, and it was so sugary that it fucking burnt my mouth. It was so sweet it hurt. It was the worst
Wow.
coffee I've ever worst coffee I've ever had.
It's a little scary sounding. I think it's gonna get worse and worse as the years go on.
Oh,
And like every
100%.
place that serves food and beverages,
Hmm.
at least here in the States.
What is a random fun fact about yourself?
I can't get nosebleeds. Or
Oh,
at least not randomly. I'm sure if you hit me hard enough. I also can't get brain freeze. Those are
they-
medium fun, I feel like.
are those like related to each other or?
No, it's just that if I think about one, then I immediately think about the other.
Oh, okay. I don't really get random nosebleeds either. Like the last time I got it was because I had like a really high fever, and before that was from like a mountain biking accident from like 2018.
That sounds scary.
It was scary. I had a concussion, but I'm chill now. What do you do to relax after a busy day?
For a busy day, I'm not going to say alcohol, but I am going to say music is really nice.
Mhm.
Motorcycle ride. Very hard to be upset on a motorcycle, assuming
got a
that nothing
bike?
is going wrong. Yeah.
What is
I
it?
ride a Kawasaki Z400. It's a naked bike. Fast.
That just means that it has no
Uh,
body panels on it.
It has no fairings on the side. It does have some
Oh,
fairings,
okay.
but not the big ones everyone knows about.
Mhm.
And the people at home won't be able to see this, but you can see it. This is just for you. There you go.
What is it? Oh, the
It's the
sticker.
sticker of the bike. You might not be able to. Yeah.
Why do you just have a sticker of your bike for VR chat?
This
For moments
conversation
like
comes
this?
up a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I also have this. That's my cat. It
Kitty!
was my cat.
It's a kitty.
Yeah.
Aw,
And then bonus.
bonus. Aw, brother. That's a cute cat.
Yeah, she's a cutie.
She is
She was
cute.
really cool. Go on bike rides, listen to music, doing something that doesn't give you time to think about other things is really good. So like playing guitar is an obvious one. The drums would be the same. You have to do different things with your hands. You kind of can't really think about, peripheral stuff. So I
Mhm.
found that that's really good, especially if you're having issues with anxiety. You don't have time to think about stuff.
All right, we're gonna move to some more personal questions. You ready?
Hmm.
All right. Who or what has had the biggest influence on you?
I think I don't keep in touch that much nowadays, but I had a best friend, and he always kind of seemed like a polar opposite of me. I've always had like health issues growing up, and I was always like a pretty sad guy. And That became kind of just like I don't know, like a default mind state. It was just kind of like what was normal to me.
Mm-hmm.
He was always like a really happy guy. He was always like just smiling. Like he had like resting smiling face. I like every time I saw him, he was like the most unbothered person in the world, and I just couldn't process that. It was always so weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've literally like witnessed horrifying things and then looked over at him, and he has the doofiest smile the whole time, and it kind of gave me like a point of like relativity of like, well, he's fine, so like I could probably be fine too.
Mm-hmm.
Or like it gave me something to like aspire towards of like I should be able to handle things in that same way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think about that a lot of the time if I feel like I didn't handle something as gracefully as I could have, or if maybe I let my emotions get the best of me.
What is a memory from the past that you still think about today?
Well, the bike has been a newer thing for me, so that was like a pretty not rapid, it was a pretty drastic change in my lifestyle. And it was kind of unlike any of my other hobbies. All my other hobbies are like pretty sedentary, you know, video games, music,
Yeah.
videos, whatever. And that stuff's really fun, but you're not going out. I also like haven't had a car in the longest time, and that was really getting to me. A bike feels like so liberating. You feel like so free, even compared to a car. And so it went from like my world is my room to like now my world is, you know, down the street, because that's as far as I'm not scared to go. And then it was town, and then it was the county, and it was California, and now I'm hoping it'll be like Canada or something.
Uh-huh.
So I'll always remember like, you know, the first day, like nobody's with me, I'm by myself, it's nighttime because I didn't want to be around cars, and it's me on the road on my own, and I'm like, oh holy shit, this is crazy, this is so cool.
Uh-huh.
And then every ride after that for the next, I don't know, month, it felt like such a big, important, special thing. It's calmed down now, but those memories will probably always stick with me.
What was the biggest risk you have ever taken, and what happened?
I don't know if I could think of the biggest one ever, but a pretty big one was I was living in Las Vegas. Oh, how do I explain this without talking for hours? I met a girl in Utah, but we were both in California. We were in like a school. School ended. She went back to California. I couldn't. And I basically got like displaced into Las Vegas because I knew somebody there. So now my whole life is like, how do I get back to her? I have no idea what to do. I met some guy on the internet like a year ago, and he's like, come live with me. It's all good, it's fine. And I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yes. I'm like, okay, cool. So I spent the next like 9 months saving up money, and I had to keep moving the last like 5 or whatever years. So I like music. I'm trying to build up my little studio. I would slowly get all the stuff that I need, and then it's all gone again because I'm moving. So yet again, I have to sell all my shit. I have to buy this $900 2002 Hyundai Accent that can't go above 60 miles an hour and shakes violently when it idles. I pack everything and my best friend into the car. I go back to California, and then I think like on the way there, he's like, hey, by the way, I'm getting kicked out and I'm moving back in. My mom. So you're gonna live with me and my mom, my sister, my brother. So that didn't go super well like I planned. A little awkward. That was a pretty big risk.
What motivates you to keep pushing through life?
It'd be nice to have a CB650R.
Is that a bike?
Yeah. Just any cool bike. That would be fun.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of
that's
those extended drag bikes, the ones that are like 10 feet long?
Not my thing. Good for
Not your
them.
thing. Good
No,
for them.
Don't think size matters that much.
They're fast as hell.
In a straight line, yeah. I'm more of
Sure,
a
sure.
twisties kind of guy.
You ever watch the Isle of Man races?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone likes to talk about them. It's crazy stuff. Very, very scary.
Would you ever do it?
I want to do everything, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ride dirt bikes. I want to do single track, go to the racetrack, whatever, you know. When I really like something, I never could be, but in my mind, I'm like, I want to be the best at this. So usually I read a lot about it, practice and all that. And then right now, my heart's really there. so I can't afford to do that stuff. Usually we'll do like group rides, and there will be like a nearby boosty road. I'm not going to say the name of it, but there's a pretty famous road near me that's like known for how intense it is. And so that became like a weekly ritual of like, I'm going to go here and bust my ass and practice there. But it'd be really cool to do that stuff one day.
Nice. Whenever I went to the movies when I was younger with my mother, there's like Cinemark had like arcades built inside of them, right? And I'd always go to like the motorcycle racing cabinet. You know what I'm talking about? I like the full size motorcycle there. Were you any good at those?
We actually, as a joke, we went to Dave and Buster's and then put our helmets on and then rode on them. Not quite the same thing.
Not quite the same thing. Yeah, you don't have nitrous on yours, do you?
I wish I did. It was also very... I wasn't expecting realism, but like, if you go like this, it would like do a 90-degree turn. So then I'm like going like this all the time. I couldn't quite get the hang of it, but there's a video floating around of us goofing around on those somewhere.
You invaded Dave and Buster's, not the dragons.
They weren't happy about it.
No. Why would they care? You're just wearing helmets. You paid.
Oh, we parked our bikes out front, and I guess the property manager was pissed off about it. He came looking for us. He's like, you guys gotta get out of here.
You paid to be... What's wrong with the bikes?
I don't know. It was probably like a safety hazard or whatever, but...
Okay. What is a moment or experience that has changed your perspective on something?
Well, I don't want to be a downer, but I've seen some pretty gnarly stuff, and just makes me aware of how far people are willing to go sometimes. It makes me wary of people, but it also makes me more, I don't know if the word is convicted in like my own like beliefs, and like I'm very motivated by spite. Like if I see somebody being an asshole, I'm like, you're an asshole, and it makes me not want to be an asshole just out of spite. Seeing some of the stuff that I've seen, it really stuck with me, and it made me think like we as people have a responsibility to be decent to each other. You don't have to be perfect, you don't have to be nice to everybody, but you definitely should not be harming people, and you definitely shouldn't be stepping on people.
Alright, well, we're nearing the end, but what's special about the Kreachur Feature podcast is that our guests can actually bring up any topic or question they'd like to. Do you have anything you want to bring up today, Shublu?
In the beginning, I talked a little bit about cultures and how I've kind of noticed the way that the people behave on this game. And I think one thing I've noticed is that for a lot of people, this isn't like an amusement park where you come to look at the stuff and hang out and leave. A lot of people came here to make this place their second life. But you don't have to pay bills here, and you can look however you want here. So I've seen a lot of people turn this into their first life, and then real life becomes their second life. And I've seen a lot of people kind of like float by on like whatever money they find, and then instead of like, you know, finding stable work or like working on their real life relationships and stuff, they kind of just pass their time on here. And I've seen some people kind of let life slip away from them, and the years go by. So I just want to kind of urge people to like not forget about real life, and it's okay to have fun, but this should never be your priority. And
Agreed.
You can definitely make friends and make connections with people, but this game will always be a game at the end of the day, and you gotta keep pushing and looking to grow as a person.
No, I agree. Real life is always the priority. It should always be the priority. If you focus too much on VR chat, VR chat's not free. There's electricity bills to pay. Someone's paying them. Someone's paying for your internet. Someone's paying for your food, water, shelter, etc. But like, VR chat doesn't bring much fulfillment. It's a distraction. Don't let it fool you. It's a distraction. It just has the potential to like introduce you to good people, and that's what I think people are riding on. It's a gamble. You're gonna piss away all your hours, but sometimes someone cool shows up. It's like, think of it like this way, right? Like, you're gonna go to a theater, right? And all it is, there's like 500 people around you, and the stage has just one spotlight, and every now and then some random guy walks into the spotlight, says one word, leaves, and then every now and then Keanu Reeves is there, or someone, a big person shows up. That's how VR chat is. You're gambling all these hours away just to see a cool thing or meet a cool person.
Yeah.
And like,
I think
I struggled recently, kind of. I had like a moment of realization where like I kind of wasted my time making a lot of online relationships when I should have been focusing on more real life relationships, because like if VR chat disappears or if like the internet goes down, I got barely anyone around at home, like where I live,
Hmm.
to like communicate with. And so like that anxiety, that fear that causes is a good motivator for me to fix that problem.
Sometimes it's good to be a little uncomfortable. I feel like
Mhm.
this place is cool. Like I feel like in life there's like a lot of places you can like stop by and see something cool and keep it moving.
Mhm.
This is like a nice place to stop by. It shouldn't be your last stop.
Mhm.
There's a whole world out there. You should go see it.
I think it escalates even further in that idea when people just like use VR chat for like NSFW purposes mostly. Like it's just a black hole at
Yeah,
that point. They get sucked into it,
yeah,
and not only are they like not socializing as well or as much in real life, they're like ruining their image of what like sex and romance is supposed to be. I'd never suggest anyone to date on VR chat, to be honest. And I rarely
yeah.
see it work out. I don't think it's worth it with the statistics.
Online in general, pretty
Mhm.
sketchy. And I think like we have a inherent need for attention. There's nothing wrong
Mhm.
with that. But I think the way that you look for it and then how you get it is very, very important. And I've noticed that it's like written all over a lot of people and like maybe the way their avatar looks, what they put as their name or their status. I noticed a lot of people, by the way, you use the group banner feature as just like a list of your kinks.
Yeah,
And
like cuddle me
there's like,
or like
yeah,
step on me or something.
yeah, I've seen a lot of people walk past me, and I now know that they love CNC.
Like,
I don't even know what their name is.
I didn't ask, you know.
Yeah, and I've seen people like, which by the way, I love sitting in front of the mirror. Let's get that out of the way. But I've seen a lot of people where I can tell that you're like sitting here in front of the mirror and then just kind of like seeking the attention of these people who you'll probably like hang out with for a couple of weeks and then they'll disappear and you'll kind of find another person to like fill the void, but
Mhm.
you don't care about making a real connection with that person. It's like they come here to get like this drip feed of instant gratification, and then they don't look for anything like that's really fulfilling or going to serve them in the long term. Like
Uh-huh.
I can come out of this game and look a certain way or talk a certain way and get compliments from people. So why would I go out and do anything else if I can just spend all day on here as like a 7'5" Drax dude with like people surrounding me?
Yeah, as
Not,
an
and that's not
e-boy.
shade at like, yeah, everybody does it too. It isn't just about what avatar you want to do. I just mean like there's healthy and unhealthy ways to get validation and gratification. And
Mhm.
it's not always that the quickest way is the best way.
Well, yeah, it's
That's
pretty
my TED Talk.
concise. Yeah, it's pretty.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your TED Talk, yeah. All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up, Shublu. Thank you everyone for watching. This has been the Creature Feature Podcast, and I hope for you to tune in the next episode. Bye.
Bye, guys.